Go. Hi, YouTubers. I'm Rick Warren, author of The Purpose-Driven Life and Pastor of Saddleback Church. I'm here at Davos with a lot of my friends, and we're talking about what are the biggest problems on the planet and how are we going to solve them. Right now, I think there are 5 what I call global giants. Extreme poverty, pandemic diseases, illiteracy, corruption, and the spiritual emptiness. These problems are so big, nobody's been able to solve them. The U.S. hasn't solved them. The UN hasn't solved them. Nobody's solved them. And I think it's because it's going to take 3-pronged strategy to do this. There's a role for the public sector, there's a role for the private sector, and there's a role for the faith sector. Each of them can do something that none of the other 3 can do. Government has a role to set agenda. Government has a role to set priorities and things like that and move nations. And there's some things that only governments can do. Businesses have a role, which they have. They bring expertise. They bring investments. They bring all kinds of innovations to the market. But then also houses of worship have things that businesses and government will never have. In the first place, we have universal distribution. The church was global 200 years before Davos ever talked about globalization. I could take you to 10 million villages around the world, and the only thing in it's a church. And we are in more locations than the United Nations. We speak more languages than the United Nations. We're in 1,000 more people groups than the United Nations. You see, there's 600 million Buddhists in the world, there are 800 million Hindus in the world, there are 1 billion Muslims in the world, but there are 2.3 billion Christians in the world. If you take people of faith out of the equation, you've ruled out 5/6 of the world. So we have to mobilize these faith groups to do work together on these issues that have been unsolvable. And the church has, of course, the greatest distribution. They also have the biggest manpower with 2.3 billion people. It means the Christian church is bigger than China. It's bigger than India. In fact, it's bigger than India and China put together. So nothing compares to its size. We have hundreds of millions of people who volunteer around the world in villages and cities on a weekly basis, and we don't have to pay them. The third thing that they have is they have local credibility. At the local level, people trust that priest or that pastor, or for that matter, an imam or a rabbi, the religious leader of their faith, because he's marrying, he's burying, he's helping them through the stages of life. When the crisis comes, NGOs come and go, nations come and go, but for instance, the church has a 2,000-year track record. So I really think that what we need to do here at Davos is to work on a 3-legged stool. The problem we haven't solved these issues before is because we've had a 2-legged stool. We've had government and business trying to work together. And that's a good thing. But a 2-legged stool will fall over. You have to have the faith sector, you have to have the public sector, and you have to have the private sector. And frankly, I don't care why you do good as long as you do good. Your motive may be politics. I'm a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, and I've learned that when you, for instance, help people get well, if they've been unhealthy, they like your nation. Now, that's not my motivation for doing good, but it's not a bad one. If you have a political motivation, fine, do it. You may have a profit motivation for doing good. Well, some businesses say we're gonna make drugs and make money at the same time and help people. Great. I wish more people would do that. I wish more businesses would make more money and do more good at the same time. It's not my motivation, but a profit motive is not bad. You might have a personal motivation. Maybe you had cancer, you had AIDS, and so you care about people with cancer and AIDS. My motivation is, Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. But it doesn't have to be your motivation. I'm just encouraging you to get involved. Do something now about the problems of the world.